Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gaming with Scott. This evening, you join us once more for our Halloween game, a continuation of last year's Halloween events that lead into this year's perpetuation of madness and mayhem. Now sit back and enjoy this side quest, a break from our regular programming for some Halloween horror. We hope you have as much fun listening to this game as we had playing it. The terror begins just after this music.
So here's what we're going to do, okay? We're going to be playing characters in a World War II era horror game. Mm-hmm. We are going to start in media res, and then we'll do introductions.
We're going to start with what?
In the flow of battle.
Oh, got it.
In media res. We're going to open on the primaries, the first scene, okay?
Bait and the hook.
We have characters that we will introduce right now to each other so that we are aware of what's going on, and then we'll kind of you're going to get thrown together after the first scene. So what's your character and what's his specialty?
My character is Sergeant Joe Kelly, Sarge to everybody else, as you might remember from last year. His specialty, I guess, is being the Sarge, commanding, leadership.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yes.
Lieutenant Ezra Mad Dog Murdoch.
Okay, what's your specialty?
You said machinist, vehicle guy?
Vehicle specialist.
Vehicle specialist.
He's the guy that drives from point A to point B and does all the little stunt drivey and all the wonderfulness.
Military chauffeur.
So we'll never see a vehicle.
No, there will be vehicles, trust me. I kind of put that in on purpose.
Oh, okay.
John?
Am I still playing Tex?
You are playing.
You
Tex.
are.
Oh, come on, Tex.
Of course, yes.
Come on, Tex.
I'm Tex, and
Did Tex have a proper name?
I don't remember it.
Okay.
I was just Tex.
I was just Sarge. I had to come up with one.
All right, well, then we'll have to...
His name is Winston Aloysius de Montfort.
Three is good.
Jessup the third.
Tex is great. Tex is
He
great.
goes by Tex. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Tex
because
is
everybody's going to need to introduce themselves eventually at the very beginning. And
What was Tex's deal? What was his? Was he a
I was
weapons guy?
radio, I believe.
I was going to say
Radio.
communication
specialist.
Yeah, I was the comm specialist.
Yes, and we're adding a heretofore unseen ne'er-do-well. Young lady. Who is likely going to be a nurse.
I was thinking nurse.
In the war. Mm-hmm. And so she's going to be a medical specialist.
Okay.
Jesus, yes.
Tell us you might need one of those.
Yeah.
Tell us your character name and your specialty if you have a focus.
Let's see. Oh, you're going to make me. Let's do Arissa. I don't even have a last name here.
Pick a nationality.
You have to have a last name because that's what we're going to call you.
Can't. Yeah.
You're in the military now.
Well, I mean,
A day in the coal is like a day on the farm.
It's like Florence Nightingale.
Should I do Starshine?
No. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
Well,
if you want to make this crazy and immediately tied into Star Trek, we can do that.
She's Native American. It's cool.
It can be what I recommend is picking a country of origin or national origin, and then thinking about what's common for that.
Now, mind you, before you jump too deep into that particular puddle, I'm going to talk to John about some sort of giant multi-tie-in for next year that may require some Star Trek tie-in type thing. So Starshine is not necessarily out of the... this could be the great ancestor to someone on a starship in the other galaxy.
She's from the hippie planet.
Right. Either way. Yeah. That's fine. It's not like Haight Ashbury didn't have enough hippies in it. That's all I'm saying.
But honestly, if
In
you tell
world-
Sarge your name is Starshine, he's going to be like, no, really, what's your name?
Yeah.
And that will make for great
And then when you
radio.
say, no, really, Starshine. Okay, I'm calling you Blondie because you're blonde. That kind of thing.
I'm calling you Blondie because you're a redhead.
Yes.
And it doesn't make sense.
There's Tex. He was
That's how
from
you end up-
Cleveland.
Well, you end up being it's Australian humor. You call people with red hair blue.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
just how it is.
All right.
That's why that's the
It's like a
origin.
fat guy, tiny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, they're
That's
they're opposites.
That's the origin of Red the bartender in the Star Trek game. He's a blue-skinned alien,
Bolian. He's blue.
That's awesome.
and so he's called
Nice.
Red the bartender.
Nice. Okay. So now that we all have our general name, are you going with that?
I'm going with
You're
it.
going with it. All
Yep.
right. That's fantastic.
Oh, I can't wait till you describe your character so I can call you something else.
Yes. So have a description. Have a mind's eye. You've all been in. Military training. You're all part of the American forces that will come over into the war. You will all be, with the exception of our nurse, you will all be storming the beach at Normandy.
So this is before the other events.
Correct. This is a prequel. This is before last year's.
Although
Okay.
we did technically survive that. So
We did.
Oh, you did, which means
Technically.
I've got there's a whole lot of wiggle room for next year as well. Trust me, I think you'll like where this is going. You're storming the beach at Normandy. This is going to be a prequel. There will be much to do for the three of you as you head onto, and up the beach. There may be a pull to get off the beach
There should be.
for each of you. And that'll prime us for the rest of the day. We'll be all kinds of happy
Where'd
from
Sarge
there.
go? He got blasted in the face. He's dead.
That'll do us tonight with Gaming with Scott.
And be like, and they're all dead. That'll do us tonight for Gaming with
All
Scott.
right,
Thanks for
so,
playing.
yeah,
So
I-
a month later, yeah, exactly.
I fall in the drink and
Murder
drown
horse.
in my equipment. Great.
Hooray!
Oh,
So we're gonna
Does
go
that mean
there.
I'm a necromancer and I bring you all back to life?
Ooh, that's
Should
a pod,
be.
that
We were
would be
wondering.
fantastic.
We were wondering if we were undead in the previous.
Question.
yes.
Last year's, we had two other members. We had Burris and Sankowski.
Correct.
Now, obviously, Ezra.
New.
What's your character's name?
Ezra, Mad Dog,
Mad
Murdoch.
Dog. Mad Dog's obviously new
Yeah.
to the group.
Correct.
Can we still reference that Sankowski and Burris are around?
Sure.
Like maybe we're going to go rendezvous with them at some point
Well,
or
it's,
something like that.
at some
Yeah.
point there will be.
Okay.
We'll group everybody together. Okay. And we'll have sort of a
I'm
plot.
not saying we have to have NPCs that way. Just they could be nameless people or they're named people that we just are trying to find or meet up with, or we can reference.
Yes, and I think that will easily come about throughout gameplay.
Okay, got it.
When you are to, secret location Charlie or Echo Bravo or Delta Bravo. I don't know what we're going to call
Yeah.
it.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Delta.
Now, since we have a new player at the table, I thought I would take an opportunity to explain to her and the audience as a whole, because this little segment here is going to go out before we drop games proper, just to give everyone the opportunity to understand how the game is played and how we're going to do what our challenge system is. So we have a vehicle specialist, we have the commander who's general command, we have a communication specialist, and we have a medical specialist. Okay, with that, the primary idea is we're using the dread system, which means you come up with your general character thoughts. How your character behaves, what your character does. As long as you're within the framework of your character, then everything's going to be great. If you've got somebody that does 100-yard, if you've got Usain Bolt and a trick shooter, okay, anything having to do with running, sprinting, speed, Usain does not need to make a pull. Okay, if the sharpshooter needs to run a 100-yard hurdle, you probably need to make a pull for every. I mean, if you're running at top speed and trying to clear these hurdles, like this is a professional thing that you don't do. Make a pull, okay? If we're going to have Usain Bolt try to sharpshoot through the ace of spades and into this guy's eye, he's probably going to have to make more than one pull, okay? To hit the card, to hit the eye, to draw without, I draw and pull. Oh, you shot yourself in the thigh. I mean, that might be a 3 pull. As I show 4 fingers, that might be a 3 pull so the idea becomes this. If you're doing things outside of your specialty, we're going to the tower. As the game progresses, we use the same tower so that episode 1, you make a couple pulls. Episode 2, you make a couple pulls. Episode 3, you're like, do you want to jump the chasm and slow down the thing that's following you because it'll go around, or do you want to take the long way? And you look at the tower and go, I'm going to go the long way. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to do this. This is a bad thing.
Did you listen to last year's?
No, I did not.
You should.
Okay.
It was a good time.
They
It
made
was
37 pulls last year. Not kidding. and the tower was like this high, and they would breathe, and it'd be like,
And it did not fall.
That's why he prepped it before we started.
The term, the phrase, screaming helps me concentrate,
was wonderful last year.
was uttered.
And you would get people who'd be like, "Hey, look, I bumped the table," and be, I mean, and there's so it builds in a tension as the game moves forward. It's like, do you want to take the easy way or not? It's very story heavy game. You can do what's in your wheelhouse. The idea of, the vehicle guy is going to be like, hey, we need to get from point A to point B. I know, let's parkour through the tree canopy. And the vehicle guy's like, no, there's a Jeep right there. That's what I'm good at. Let's do this. And, the command guy is like, hey, I'll coordinate. And the nurse is like, I can't use bandages on this. You people suck. And that's how this whole thing works. Now, when they take damage, you will potentially, depending on their degree of damage, need to make a pull to possibly save them. But if it's, I took one in the shoulder, and you say, well, gee, as the medical specialist, I'm going to patch them up. The answer is you patch them up. It's not a question of I've got to go to the tower. But our tower is our conflict, management system.
Conflict resolution.
Conflict resolution. That's the words I was looking for.
Okay.
It makes for fun. As the tower gets higher and higher, it goes kind of nuts. And you get to see everyone's Jenga skills. And you get to see people yell at someone else because somebody's bouncing their leg or the table's moving. And people go, crap! You got that one guy going, dun, 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 and you're like, stop it! Yeah, it's a wonderful time
Do
for
a
everybody.
saucy marimba.
Yeah, on the table. That's all kinds of good. So, any other questions, comments, concerns? We're in World War II. We're going to open storming the beach at Normandy. I'm going to do some cool sound effects, some gunfire in the background kind of thing, and then we're going to get back to it.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, then that'll do us for our intro, and you'll hear from us here either tonight or in a couple of days for the beginning of our Halloween session. Thank you, boys and girls.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And that'll do us tonight for Gaming with Scott presents our Halloween game. As always, check our show notes to find out how to contact us, and we thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to our song.